You guys miss me? I know, I really missed you. The hardest part of the bye week was the time away from the media. Excited for home game Thursday night and opportunity to play for our military appreciation game, and which is a very special night. You know, my favorite night in the stadium, to see the representation here from our state, from our country, and wear a uniform modeled to represent and honor them. And what a great place to do it. You know, I've always loved the fanfare, the pageantry that goes along with our military appreciation night. So I'm excited for that, for our team, and look forward to our fans being there in full force for another night game and supporting our players. You know, before we get into players and games and all that kind of stuff, a few things. Tyon Palmer, injury-wise, is out for the year with a knee injury, and Ricky Person is out, but not long-term. Will be back, but won't play this week. Same with Justin Witt. And so, two guys that have injuries that should bounce back, but aren't back yet, and one that's out for the season. So, just to keep you abreast of that. But a good time for us to have a bye week. Obviously, you know, after 5 games, a lot of information for us to study. Opportunity for the guys, coaches, players to digest a lot of film without a game right at the end of it, to study what we need to improve on. And then we had some good practices, and, you know, give them a chance to have a Saturday off where they can really just reflect, hit the reset button, and come back. I thought we had a really, really good practice yesterday coming off of that. And again this morning, you know, obviously playing a midweek game creates a different schedule for your team, for your coaches, and so that's unique in its own right. But coming out of that week, you know, looking at us offensively, you know, we're running the football well. We're playing really good football in the red zone. We've got a lot of first downs. We're number one in the conference in first downs offensively. We got to improve our efficiency on 3rd and short the last 2 weeks. Need to get more explosive plays and just be more efficient, period, in our pass game. You know, defensively, we're stopping the run, top 10 in the country. I think we're doing a really good job on 3rd down. We're pressuring the quarterback, you know, doing well in total defense. There's some routes that we've got to get off the film that we haven't been able to stop consistently, and just getting more takeaways. I think that's the biggest thing, and I've talked about that already. Defensively is a huge goal for us to improve that area. Just as a team, you know, I feel like if we just eliminate the pre-snap mental and post-snap emotional penalty that's hit us the last 2 games, which is really focus, discipline, and maturity, those 3 things, and correct and improve on the mentioned areas prior, we'll be in a good place. You know, these are things that we can fix, things the guys understand, things the coaches understand. We need to do a good job as a staff of putting these guys in position to make plays, and then they need to make them. You know, that's the end-all, be-all. It comes down to coaches coach and players play, and together we go through it, you know, and so excited to get back into a game with them. As you've seen on the depth chart, Bailey Hockman will start for us at quarterback. Devin, who also came in the game at Florida State and did a nice job, will have an opportunity. Feel like they're giving us more in the pass game. You know, Matt's doing a really good job in a lot of areas and needs to improve on his pass game, and will. Really impressed with how Matt came to practice the last 2 days, and he's going to get better. He's an incredible young man. But for us to be able to do more things from a scoring standpoint and push the ball down the field just where we're at, those 2 guys give us a better shot with their arms right now, and Matt will continue to work on the things that he can. You know, I thought Bailey came in, the Florida State game, showed a lot of poise and guts. You know, he took some tough shots in that game, kept getting up and competed. Devin came in cold at the end and threw it around well, and so I was proud of those guys. And just like, you know, at the beginning of the season, those are tough conversations to have. And I thought Bailey and Devin handled their roles, but improved and improved and improved in their roles, and took advantage of opportunity that was presented. And Matt will do the same now. I know he will. Talking about Syracuse, our opponent, you know a lot about this football team. You know, really, really good at taking the ball away on defense, 12 takeaways. Offensively, as you guys know, they're up-tempo. They have very good skill at receiver, running back. Quarterback can throw it and can extend plays with his feet. I've had some good football games with Syracuse since I've been here, and respect Coach Babers and his staff quite a bit. Schematically, we're familiar with both sides of the ball and how they play. I think their defensive front is arguably one of the best in the ACC. Have a lot of respect for their defensive linemen, their defensive ends, their rotation at defensive end. I just think they have a really, really formidable group right there that make a lot of plays for them and help their coverage with their pass rush. Questions?
You mentioned your time away from us. What was your schedule like? Did you give them a couple of days off, or
Yeah.
how did you kind of handle?
So, just going backwards. We came in and put the game to bed and did not go out and work them out like we normally would on a Sunday. So we took that Sunday just as a film day and a recovery day. Monday, Tuesday, the guys were in the weight room, didn't have any practice. So they had 3 straight days off the field. Wednesday, Thursday, we got back into football and worked on our first and second down stuff. Friday was just a weight room day for them, and then they were off completely on Saturday. And then came back yesterday, which was Sunday, which is really game week Tuesday, and got into our game week routine from there.
Coach, with Ricky being out this week,
Yeah.
Jordan Houston stepped up in that Florida State game,
Yeah.
got the start, is running currently for 7.1 yards per carry. I mean, how good has he been this season, and how critical will he be moving forward if Ricky's forced to miss multiple games?
Right. Well, I think him and Bam are very critical right now to us, and Trent Penix. Those are our 3 backs, right? So both Zonovan Knight, Bam, and Jordan Houston have showed the ability to make plays, to be consistent, to get tough yards, but they're playmakers, and they've played good football for us to this point. And so they're going to get more opportunities with Ricky out, and look forward to seeing them take advantage of that.
You mentioned the reset button. Do you feel like giving them that much time off gave them a chance to kind of get back and try to handle this second 61?
Well, I guess we'll find out. But just judging them by how they were yesterday, they looked very refreshed. We were fast in practice yesterday. And they've been in the weight room. It's not like we haven't seen them, we've seen them, but I think it was good for our staff as well. We recruited Friday, and then we had, a family day Saturday, and it was good for us. I think we've been in here every day since August 1st. So just to have a day away from the office for us, to have a day away from the coaches for them, I think is really healthy at this point. And it's a weird schedule, so we're going to have a few more of these, with 2 games in the month of October and 4 Saturdays that we don't play. So our guys, we've got to keep them fresh. We've got to keep them focused, and sometimes stepping out's a good way to do that.
Dave, you said all along that this team needed to improve every week.
Yeah.
But how much more difficult has that task become because of the injuries?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to use it as an excuse. It's reality. You guys know all the different guys that are out and how young we were to start. So that's the reality. The challenging part of that is the chemistry of the guys that play. You don't have the same 11 in and out all the time. And so I feel like we have gotten several guys better. It's just building off of who's the guy next to me all the time that changes, and nothing you can do about that. You just got to get the reps that you can, and these guys understand that the next man up is real, and they got to take advantage of their moment that a lot of them want.
Sometimes injuries can actually bring a team a lot closer together. Are you seeing any of that?
I think adversity in general forces you to do that. I think you either fight or you fail, and we're going to fight. And that's how we're made here. And so these guys are going to stick together. They're going to compete. We're going to try to find solutions and stay positive. And, I think that's the best thing any family can do that goes through tough times. And that's what we are. This football team's a family, so we're going to stick tight. And we ask our fans to do the same thing for these young men that are working their butts off for them. I think that's the beauty of having a home field advantage like we do this weekend. We need the 12th man to be real in this one to help these guys out.
You mentioned that Bailey showed a lot of poise and guts. Was that your decision process there? And you mentioned that we only saw Devin at the end there. Just take us through where you kind of used the week. Did you use it just based on the Florida State game, or was it more of a holistic approach of looking at everything?
You know, going into Ball State, we just felt like we weren't throwing the ball efficiently enough. And that's where you saw us give Bailey a series at the end of the beginning of the second quarter so that we could make a better evaluation of would it be better, because we hadn't given him real game reps, just mop-up reps, right? And felt like he did well there, and then he improved in practice. And as I've been telling you guys, of course you don't get to see it, but Devin had been getting better in the things that he was doing. And then we got in the game and we just weren't moving the football. And so gave him an opportunity, and we started to get some balls down the field and open up some things. We are running the football well, and so it's just a matter of having the ability to take advantage of coverage matchups that we're getting. And I felt like that gave us that, you know, and then to see Devin come in and do what he did. And that's where we're at. You know, just statistically, when you look at, we're not explosive in the pass game right now. We're not getting enough explosive passes. We're not getting enough even pass interference calls against down the field plays. So I feel like that gives us a shot, and for Matt, it's a chance for him to really look at what he needs to do to improve, and I know he will.
Bailey will start. Would Devin play on Thursday night?
He could. I don't think I should give you my game plan today. I mean, but he could.
What is the estimated timetable for Nick McLeod to return? And as a follow-up, is there any consideration of possibly using this year as a redshirt year for him?
Nick's plans to be back as soon as he can be, and so the goal was this game. And so if it's not this game, the goal will be next game, you know, and we'll just keep going that way. And if you end up in that scenario, we'll get there, but his goal is to help us win this year.
How disruptive is a Thursday game to try to plan and to kind of get everything ready? And is that offset by the atmosphere that usually takes place here on a Thursday night game?
Yeah, it's electric here on Thursday nights. It's awesome. And so that part of it is a huge plus. The tough part of it is if you're the home team, your Wednesday's different than if you were the traveling team. Like our players have class that they do go to, you know. And so Wednesday, we don't just take our guys to the hotel like we would, you know, on a Friday, you know what I mean, where they don't have classes. So you have a different routine the night before the game, and then you play at night, and then they wake up and it's Friday, and some of them have class Friday morning. And we don't get home till it's an 8 o'clock game against a team that throws the ball. I mean, it could be 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. So there's some unique things around it. It's not ideal for the players when you talk about, particularly in a short week game. Playing 2 games in 5 days, that's really hard, especially when you're the road team. Because now you're traveling, coming back, all the things that you can imagine, but that's part of the deal. And so for our guys, I think, you know, it's something we talk about. I sit down with our captains in preseason and show them how all this stuff's going to lay out, let them kind of marinate on it. And so that when we get to it, there's no, Coach, I didn't know it was going to be like this. It's like, yeah, we talked about it. You know, here's where we're at.
Dave, because of Witt's injury, the depth chart says you're starting a true freshman left tackle.
Yeah.
How ready is
Icky
for this?
I think he's ready. He's played well. He's been very physical. Has a lot of physical plays. He's done a lot. He's played in every game. And so excited for him. I think he's going to do a great job. And Emmanuel McGirt and Bryson Spees, and those guys have all waited their turns to play. You know, now they got a shot, and look forward to seeing them compete.
Anything else?
Coach, Matt's a quality guy. Would you, if the quarterback was not as good as him about, you know, being just a quality guy, would you worry about making that decision? Or how do you think Matt's going to handle that? Obviously, it'd be easier for him than a guy who doesn't have the qualities that Matt has, I imagine.
Yeah, Matt's a tremendous teammate, and he's a great young man to coach, you know. And so I worry about everybody that goes through things, to answer your question, but I don't have to worry about how Matt's going to handle it, but I do worry about every one of these kids that goes through an adversity, you know. And my job's to tell them the truth and then try to help them through it, you know. And so that's where we're at with him and other guys. And to lose your job is one thing, to quit's another, and Matt's a fighter, you know. He's going to fight hard to get back, and just like Devin and Bailey, when they were backups, they didn't give in, they got better, you know. And so now Matt will have that opportunity, and we'll support him through it.
Okay. Anything else?
Coach, Matt's a quality guy. Would you have anything else?
Okay.
Would you quarterback was not as good as him about, you know, being just the quality guy? Would you worry about making that decision? Or how do you think Matt's going to handle that? Obviously,
Anything else?
What was his initial reaction when you gave him the news that he would?
I mean, he was disappointed, but understood, and just asked, "What can I do?" And let's get a plan and let's go. You know, talked about being a great teammate to those guys. I mean, everything you would want a young man to be. I mean, no one's going to be happy with that news, and if they are, you're probably like, "Wow, why is this guy starting? If he's happy to lose his job, right?" You know, so I mean, nobody's going to be happy about it, but the way he handled it's the way you'd expect a great teammate to handle it and a competitor to handle it.